What is going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Champion Spotlight video. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new Undead Horde's HP based epic champion Vogoth. Now, Vogoth, on first review from a lot of people, they kind of overlooked a lot of really cool things, so that's what we want to talk about here today. And looking at his model, nothing too crazy in my opinion. I do think he looks pretty cool, but like I said, compared to some of the other champions, he doesn't really stand out too crazy to me. However, there is a really cool effect here we do see on the axe, so that definitely gets one thumb up from me for sure. But as far as the rest of the model, he does look pretty basic overall. Some people like that, some people don't, but I can't complain too much. So what we're going to do first is actually bring this guy into the campaign, go over his skills, see what his animations look like, and kind of see how we can work with this guy. Alright, so here he is in the campaign. Let's go over his A1. Horrendous Strength. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of increasing the duration of one random debuff on the target for 1 turn. Now, if you're not sure already how abilities like this work, this only works for normal debuffs. And when I say normal debuffs, I do mean non-crowd control debuffs, kind of like the masteries. You're not going to be extending stuns, sleep effects, freeze, so on and so forth. So anything like that, don't look to extend. This is simply for defense down, weaken, attack down, poisons, HP burn, and all of that good stuff. So let's take a look and see actually what this A1 looks like. So pretty basic animations on the A1. Moving on to the A2, Wave of Revulsion. This is a 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, has a 60% chance of placing a provoked debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, also has a 60% chance of placing a 50% attack down debuff for 2 turns on targets who receive the provoked debuff from this skill. Some people probably read this and kind of shrugged it off as not that big of a deal. Let's see what this looks like here. So it's kind of like the Hegemon attack, if you are aware with what Hegemon does, except for it's a purple version. Also, I believe Haikatoon has a similar skill that kind of looks like this. But the question is, why is this going to be so strong? The fact that this champion, whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. Now this is obviously reduced by bosses, especially for the clan boss. That's probably why they made this distinction here. So you couldn't just have insane healing on the clan boss, but this is definitely a solid passive here. But not only that, we also have a second passive. When attacked, places a leech debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. If the target is under a provoked debuff placed by this champion, also has a 70% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on the attacker by 2 turns. Occurs once per attack. So this is already extremely strong. This is extremely strong for a lot of reasons, but this guy's going to be an absolute monster as far as locking down champions in the arena, champions in progression. So there's a ton of value here that I know when I went over this on stream, a lot of people didn't see at first, but he has really interesting interaction with himself. He also places that leech debuff, which wouldn't be terrible. He's not going to be a consistent attack down champion for the clan boss. However, the fact that he has a triple hit A1 does definitely give him that bonus of increasing his utility and giving him higher overall damage from mastery, since he can then take something like a Giant Slayer, especially if he is in a situation where he has a counter attack. So as we can see there, while it doesn't say decrease cooldown, you did see briefly a clock appear, as we just saw once again, over the champions, meaning that they had their cooldowns increased, just kind of showing you how strong this actually is. So a lot of people will say, but it's not a 100% chance. That definitely lowers down the value. Actually, something you will learn, especially once you get into Platinum Arena, it's almost better to not have a 100% chance of actually locking down every single champion. Your goal in the arena to really maximize your kind of success in the arena is to disrupt the enemy team as much as possible, giving you the highest chance of success. Now, while this definitely could be an AoE stun, hitting every single champion with the 100% chance, granting you have the accuracy required. And this is also the reason why players are running 50% or 65% crit rate on someone like a Hegemon. You really don't want to kill every single target with the Hegemon. It becomes very hard once you get into Platinum, even though some of the stats are extremely high. If you can pick off 1 or 2 champions with the Helm Smasher proc, you're going to do much better overall, because sometimes deaths like those, where it's not 2 or 3 champions, it's just 1 champion, you can definitely offset some of the cooldowns and the AI of the team you're attacking, which the same thing applies here with Vogoth. So after I kind of just showed you what he can do, I do want to go over the gear I am using on this champion here, since he can be such a strong control champion. So I am using a stalwart set, I am using a accuracy set to kind of bump up his stats a little bit. So overall, he has 40,000 health, almost 41,000, 4,300 defense, 221 speed. You definitely want to make sure he has a healthy speed amount, 349 accuracy since he is kind of built for arena at the moment. I didn't really care about crit rate because the damage is going to be coming from an outside source other than him. And then finally, 140 resistance, nothing crazy, but can help if you are facing someone like a Valkyrie if she doesn't have high enough accuracy. Next, moving on to the skills of the champion, I did go over them, but I didn't go over the book value, so 30 up to a 40% chance of actually increasing the duration of a random debuff. So even though he's not going to be a consistent attack down champion, he's definitely going to be a consistent leech champion. Free hit on the A1 for pretty big numbers as far as overall damage from mastery damage, but also having the ability to increase the duration of one random debuff on the target, which can definitely be a poison, it can be a defense down, it can be a weaken, overall increasing your damage and the value of this champion in the clan boss team. And moving on to the A2, we have a 60 up to a 75% chance of placing that provoke and that attack down. So now you have 75% chance overall, so it's not 100, so you will leave out some key champions here, and I'll get into more of the specifics on that once I test out this guy in the arena. Now that we do that, you have to consider how are you going to use this guy, where are you going to use this guy. Now if you want to use him for arena, I would probably once again avoid the offense tree. Only take the offense tree if you really want to use this guy. In the clan boss, make sure you're going all the way down to the giant slayer here. But if you want to use them in arena, make sure you're getting as much accuracy as possible. And if you want some benefit from the debuffs that are being cast from this champion, you can take Arcane Celerity. You can also take Evil Eye, which I definitely recommend. And also Sniper, giving you that 5% additional chance to apply the attack down debuff. And then if you're finding yourself struggling significantly with accuracy, you can take Eagle Eye, but that's not necessarily what I'm going to recommend here. I do recommend you hitting resistance here and taking this improved parry. One thing that champions like, the best example would probably be Angar, where he struggles the most is he's taunting everybody. And this kind of goes to the benefit of Vogoth not taunting everyone with 100% chance. When you're taunting an entire team, you are receiving a ridiculous amount of incoming damage. The fact that this guy is more likely than not going to taunt the entire team, you're really reducing the stress on the amount of damage Vogoth is going to take. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that you're provoking 2 champions out of 4 champions. That's still enough damage to completely disrupt the enemy team. Now, how much damage can the enemy nuker do without a defense down buff on your team? How many turns can they get if you actually provoke their damage dealer and nobody else? So they're getting a turn, their turn meter booster is going off, they're debuffing your entire team, and what they're not doing is they're not getting the value from that nuker, since that nuker is now using their A1 against someone like a Vogoth and giving your team that whole extra round to be able to kill their team and finish them off. So this is why he's so strong here. Next thing you can do is you can take something like Wisdom of Battle, or if you want to, you can go for Bloodthirst, although he's probably not going to be killing anybody. The main point is you want to take whatever you want to take and get yourself down to Retribution here. Counterattack is going to be very strong for this champion, as well as Fearsome Presence. This does increase the chance of provoking by 5%, so it's giving you that 85% of the provoke chance, which 5% may seem small, but it can make the difference on your team, and it gives you slightly higher odds to actually have success here. So outside of these, it's really up to you what you want to take. If you want to take Exalt Death, if you want to take Rejuvenation, most of these other talents here are going to depend on what kind of gear you want to put Vogoth in and the different synergy you have with the other champions that you're playing with in your arena team. So now that we went over that, let's head straight into the arena against one of these really tanky teams here and see what Vogoth can actually do. Now he does have that advantage of being the strong affinity to someone like a Battle Khazar and a Mountain King. However, there's a lot of penalty here at the moment. If you can see already, Battle does have that cleanse ability. So this is going to be a heavily reliant on RNG team to be fighting, because if Battle doesn't get provoked, the bulk buffs are probably going to be cleansed from all the other champions, so let's see how we do in here. And one thing I do recommend if you want to use Vogoth in the arena as a lockdown champion where he's going to shine heavily, use someone that has a block revive. That's going to be the key to this, because more likely than not, he's going to be taking the spot of a debuffer. So as we can see, we provoked 3 of the 4 champions now. This puts us in a very good spot here and really allows you to kind of control the outcome of this entire arena match from here on out. So let's go ahead and put this on auto and watch our team kind of move along here. Santa's going to be the only one not using that A1 ability. Going to see what an A1 from someone like a Mountain King is actually going to do to Vogoth, which should be interesting. And as we can see there, the cooldown of Battle Khazar just got increased because of that A1 hit, and also got increased from someone like that Mountain King. So this should show you already, not only in arena, but how strong this guy's actually going to be in progression when you're facing either the Dragon Waves and you have someone like the Ordins doing insane damage to your team, is kind of going through and one-shotting them all if you're on the lower end of the threshold gear. So all of these things absolutely add up, and he can be such a game-changing part of your progression experience just because of the fact that he's increasing those cooldowns. He has solid CC but not 100% CC, so all of these things together are going to be proving to be an awesome asset to you and your team if you decide to build this champion. For that, I have no doubt about it. Let's put this on 2x speed and kind of get the show on the road here. We do have some more turns coming up from these champions, so let's wait until the unkillable is actually shifted off here. Even though we are extremely fast according to these guys, so we also increased, even though he was in the Relentless gear set on the Sir Nicholas, which I probably wouldn't recommend you to run Sir Nicholas in. We're still waiting for Mountain King to get his first turn here, and thankfully we built Vogoth tanky enough to actually not suffer any losses from that. So easy team, really cool to see against a defensive team, because you did get to see some of the RNG that is going to be required when facing off against a team with a built-in cleanser on their team. Alright, so now let's fight another team that's going to be very interesting. Their team power is low, but it's still going to be cool to see what's going to happen based on who actually gets debuffed from the champion Vogoth here. So we'll put this on auto, 1x speed. And this is going to determine everything right now. Okay, so as we can see here, we have a provoke on Skull Crusher, Sifi, and Stag Knight. Now this is the setup that I've been talking about in the ideal scenario here. What we have is we've locked down 3 champions, and we've given Miscreated Monster, who's probably going to be the damage dealer on this team, based on kind of looking at how this team comp is actually set out, to where Stag Knight provides that defense down. Just quickly glancing at the turn meters, you really have a good gauge on Sifi is going to go, then Stag Knight, then Skull Crusher, and then finally Miscreated Monster is going to be kind of the cleanup champion, doing that AoE stun, providing the shield with the defense down. Now we've completely disrupted this entire team and what they were trying to do, and we can just let our nuker go. And as expected, I wasn't really looking for them to survive this based on how low their team power is, and for the fact that I'm in a rather low threshold of gold, since I don't really do arena a lot now that my Great Hall is in fact maxed. But this is simply to show you the gameplay and how crucial and how strong Vogoth can actually be, not only in arena, but applying this directly to any type of progression you're looking for to get out of this champion. Alright guys, that's going to conclude my video today on Vogoth. Give me your feedback, let me know what you think. Were you surprised about some of the things for his kit? Did you see it right away? I want to know these things. How are you guys interpreting these champions? Have you found anything different or different uses that you see that I overlooked while testing this guy? Definitely let me know. Don't forget guys, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you're notified the next time I upload a video, and I will see you all in my next upload.